Good morning at 6:03. Robert and Erin, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Way down yonder. Miss Erin, local news, getting ready right now.
2 teenagers arrested in the death of a Barksdale airman. We'll have that. Another fatal shooting in Shreveport. That's coming up. And the mayor's race is heating up. We'll take a look at some of the matchups.
You know, you think they're really going to, at some point, you think they're going to start taking shots. I mean, really coming out against Miss Ollie, now that it's sort of appears that she has a lead, and perhaps a substantial one.
Perhaps.
This morning, one of the most amazing guest lists we've had in some time, and I had absolutely nothing to do with it, but we'll tell you who's coming up, because it's pretty cool. Fletcher in sports, traffic, and weather, and it's all coming up here this hour, right here on Keel.
Is. A Shreveport man is locked up after taking shots at officers. According to police, officers were called to a home on Cresswell Avenue around 10 p.m. When they got there, the man pulled a gun, began shooting at them. The man then led police on a foot chase around the neighborhood. Eventually, he was captured behind a home on Olive Street. The mayor's race in Shreveport's heating up as polls start rolling in. But political analyst Scott Hughes says it's still way too early for a lot of folks.
Only 40% are going to go vote. 60% won't. Of those that go vote, a lot don't even know who's on the ballot yet.
Hughes says current Mayor Ollie Tyler is a clear front-runner, but a Tyler-Talaferro runoff could get interesting. He also says if Adrian Perkins makes the runoff, that could also be a close race. State police say one of their troopers has been arrested and placed on leave. Trooper John C. Kelly of Troop G in our area is facing a charge of felony abuse of office. Louisiana has the highest FAFSA submission rates in the nation, according to a new report. That means more students than ever are applying to see what financial aid they can get. Education Tech senior consultant Stephanie Markham says the 84% participation rate comes down to a new mandate for graduating high school seniors.
The Board of Elementary and Secondary Education implemented a policy that said as a condition of graduation, a student must either complete a FAFSA or a TOPS application.
It's estimated by 2020 that 65% of all jobs will require some kind of post-secondary education. A dog dead after being thrown out of a moving vehicle on Webster Parish on I-20. The animal was bound with tape and rope and thrown out of the car and dragged while still alive. Humane Society Executive Director Jeff Dorson says the injuries were brutal and he called it torture.
Fractured skull, had lacerations on its face and arms and chest, and the pictures on social media is just very disturbing.
They're offering a $2,500 reward for any information about the case. The White House says it's okay for the FBI to interview anyone it wants by Friday in its investigation of sexual misconduct allegations against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. LSU quarterback Joe Burrow is the SEC Offensive Player of the Week for his performance against Ole Miss. But credit also has to go to his receivers, who got open and racked up several yards after the catch in the blowout win over the Rebels. Coach Ed Orgeron says it was the breakout game they've been waiting for from their pass catchers.
You know, we work on it hard. We have some big athletic receivers. And at first of the year, they wasn't getting open, so we changed some things that we're doing. More crossing route, more mesh routes, more digs, more intermediate three-level routes, play action pass.
This Saturday, LSU is at number 22, Florida. And the owner of a southern Colorado bowling alley has died after getting stuck in a pin-setting machine. He was unconscious and not breathing. Emergency responders determined he had died. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Time for traffic for Tuesday. Here's Ruben.
Starting things off looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Uri Drive near Southfield Road. Watch out for patches of dense fog, and if you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Partly sunny, warm, and humid today with a high of 88 degrees expected. Tonight dropping down to a low of 72. 90 degrees for your high tomorrow, 73 tomorrow night for your low, and on Thursday, warm and humid with a high of 88. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Derek Witt.
I think when you listen to those four candidates, you're listening.
Holy cow.
Do we need to call 911?
Looks like a huge hickey.
It's not a hickey, I promise.
101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Hickey McCarty, 12 after 6 o'clock. Yes, Parky?
Well, I just have my fingers crossed that that's a career-ending injury. Kinda like
is it?
What the heck happened?
A wasp got on me, and
It's right at the base
I know.
of your neck.
It's like swollen out.
And you're scratching it, and since you started talking about it, it's increased in size
growing
twofold.
Yeah, man.
I just may have some cortisone cream in my golf bag.
Okay, I might need that.
If not, you can make a run up to CVS or
Might
something.
die.
Okay, so yesterday Do you want to talk about the mayor's? We'll talk about the mayor's email or text back to you.
Okay.
In the second segment.
Okay.
Because last week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we had the 4 of the 5 mayoral candidates, all but Miss Ollie. We had Adrian Perkins. We had, then on Wednesday, we had Jim Talaferro and Leo Savage. Thursday, we had Stephen Jackson. And yesterday morning, we had analyst, political guy, Scott Hughes in to talk about that, and that's where we started off. Did you hear the 4 of the 5 candidates last week, and what did you take away?
I think when you listen to those 4 candidates, you're listening to 4 people playing for second place. I think they kind of know it. They're trying to figure out where they're going to get their votes. And they're more consistently focusing on the themes they're probably hearing out as they walk the streets, which are crime, the water and sewage / corruption that people like to say. And then more and more, we're starting to hear about jobs. That's starting to rise.
Are you surprised, because I didn't note that in your voice, are you surprised, and we talked about the polls, I don't know what you've seen, that Miss Ollie is on top?
No, I'm not surprised. First off, I'm not a big poll guy. I've mentioned that before on your show. I believe polls are sort of a snapshot in time, and I think you need to see a consistent poll over time to see if there's movement or if there's consistency. Now, I hear y'all have 2 polls that may show some consistency, so there may be some good takeaway, but I'm not surprised. I think I said 2 months ago I thought Ollie opened at 35%. She's the incumbent. I haven't seen anything that the candidates have done to draw her much below that. She may be around 30% today, so I think she's going to lead the primary unless something outstanding happens in this race in the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Let me is it surprising to you, because it just from the cultural zeitgeist, if you will, of Shreveport right now, when you say to me that 30% or 35%, that Ollie has that number, give or take. So what you're saying to me is that 30 or 35% of Shreveport voters are looking around going, yeah, we're kicking it. We're doing good. 4 more years. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I don't think that's how I describe it. I think first, when you look at an election, remember that probably only maybe 40% of our electorate will go vote in this race.
You think it'd be that high?
It may be. We have school board races. We have city council races.
Right.
There are a lot of local races that people are going to be more engaged in. So we might hit 40%. That'd be a ceiling. I'll say it like that. And so that means 6 in 10 people are not going to go vote at all. So those 40% who are engaged, now that's who we're looking at when you poll. A decent poll should only be polling that 40% who might go vote. And when you go look at that, there's still going to be people that answer the question, we have a mayor's race. After all you've done, after all everyone's done, many people in this market have no clue there's a mayor race. Now, the second to that is, I'm not saying they think that Ollie's kicking it, to use your term, Robert, but I do think they're looking at it saying, I don't see anyone in the other field that's better than what I have. And there's an old saying that the enemy I know is better than the enemy I don't. And these other candidates may not have done anything yet to earn that vote. And keep in mind, even when I'm saying Ollie may have 30, 35%, that still means 2 in 3 voters are not going to vote for her on the primary day.
And that means that those folks are not happy with what she's been doing. So how does she win in the runoff?
The runoff, it's 2 separate races. I mean, it sounds simple, but it's 2 separate races. Race 1 is who can get to the runoff. And I think you had some numbers this morning, or some rankings of that.
Didn't you say, what did you say before? You think number X will get you in
I think 20% gets you in second place. If Ollie is 30 or 35%, and the second place, and figure Ollie's 30, 35%. There are 3 candidates who collectively might get 5%.
One of them showed her at like 27.
And that's reasonable.
Okay.
That's around 30. And so that means the other 4 legitimate candidates, as many of us that watch this race say, they're going to basically be splitting 55, 60 points. And so someone that gets 20%, a third of that vote, is going to probably make the runoff.
Which brings us to the rumor, the not so unsubstantiated rumor of a possible deal made a month, 2 months, 3 months ago between Talaferro and Savage, the 2 on the Republican side, that when enough polling data comes in, the one who is behind, the one who is in second, will withdraw and throw his support to whoever of the 2 is leading.
In an attempt to get the Republican in the runoff, obviously.
I think Republicans are very concerned about their situation.
Keep going.
If you're asking about the deal, I don't know anything about a deal. I'm not a big fan of deals. Deals always seem to make sense when you're filing and everyone's shaking hands and everyone's happy. And then you get 2 months into a race and you've put your personal money in and your political career's on the line, and nobody ever seems at that point to want to back out. Now, if there's a deal, or if there was a deal, let's look at the deal. The deal probably was something akin of whichever one of us is leading, the other one will drop out. Well, the visual in your brain is one of us is going to be at 60%, the other is going to be at 40 or 70, 30. I think what you have, even based on the two polls that you kind of outlined this morning, they seem to have a consistent first place, Ollie. They seem to have a consistent third place, Stephen Jackson.
And actually, Stephen was 5.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
on the
That
Dem
really
side.
surprised
Right.
me. But what that really means is that means in spots 2, 3, and 4, the critical spots, 2, 3, and 4, that means both Taliaferro and Savage are right there. If you're looking at the Republican issue alone, that means they very likely are separated by 1 or 2 percentage points.
Like I say, it's
so
one
who's
thing-
going to drop out?
It's one thing to say I'll withdraw if you're
killing me,
if
yeah.
you're kicking my ass. But on the other hand, what if every poll says it's 19 to 18 and a half?
No one's going to withdraw. You don't know what's going to turn up on Election Day. And then you get to the second race. I said it's a 2-race
Yes.
scenario. The second race is even more important. And I've looked at that. Anyone can do this themselves. Draw yourself a little box. Across the top, write the 5 major candidates. Across the left side, down the left column, write the 5 major candidates, and start looking at the potential second-round matchups. And that's really where the rubber hits the road. If you assume Ollie is in, then look at the Tyler versus Jackson race, the Tyler versus Perkins race, the Tyler versus Savage, and the Tyler versus Taliaferro, and run the numbers in your head. Understand in December, when the second race takes place, there'll be less voter turnout. Traditionally, the box gets older, it gets whiter, it gets conservative.
Right.
So who has the advantage the second round? And you start looking at that, and you start seeing some real potential challenges.
Do you see the Jackson or Perkins endorsing Tyler at that point after going through this, year-long campaign of she's awful?
I don't see Jackson endorsing anybody if he doesn't get in the race. I think Jackson would likely sit out. You can ask Stephen that question. I just don't think, given the politics there, that he would endorse Miss Tyler. As far as Perkins, I don't know what Perkins would do. Perkins has a legitimate shot to wind up in the runoff against
What you're
Ollie.
telling me
But wait.
is-
Your question, what you just said, was called out to people this weekend because this firm, JMC, did a call on Saturday. Their first question was, who are you voting for today? Their next 2 questions, and I want to see what you think about this. Their next 2 questions were between Ollie and Leo and Ollie and Jim. And the last 2 questions were whether I liked or disliked Leo Savage and liked or disliked Jim Taliaferro. What do you make of that?
It's a sophisticated attempt to answer the second round. They're doing exactly what I did. They're not worried about the first round. They're looking at the second round. And the second question is the most important. Who do you like in the runoff? Who do you like, Ollie versus Lee, Ollie versus Jim? And that answers the one I think that real Republicans are looking at. It's not just enough, and I think one of y'all made a comment earlier about we want to make a deal to get in the runoff, or one of your callers did,
Sure.
your texters did. That's a pretty good question. It's not about just making the runoff. It's which one has an actual chance to win the runoff.
If, in fact, what you just said is true, and I tend to think you're usually right, if the general election, the runoff, is less of a turnout, older, whiter, etc., what you're telling me is that that Taliaferro Savage deal becomes even more appealing.
The Republicans,
more important.
If a Republican candidate can get there, they're going to have a legitimate chance. Their percentage of the box will go up the second round. Now, many people that have looked at this race,
if a Republican can get to the runoff, you think they have a pretty good chance?
I wouldn't say pretty good. They have a chance. I would say they have a punter's chance. I actually personally think that Tyler versus Savage is in Tyler's favor. I think that she will carry most of the African-American vote. I think Lee will carry the Republican vote, but Tyler will still get moderate crossover vote. She has some of that traditional Democratic white and some white Republican vote. I think Tyler versus Taliaferro becomes interesting. I think Jim may have a better chance to, you saw the race where he went for city marshal. He may have some chance to make some crossover vote. That's what they're polling in that second poll that you saw.
Right.
And I think Tyler versus Jackson, I think Tyler beats Jackson very easily. And Tyler versus Perkins becomes interesting as well. Perkins will get some white vote, he'll get some Republican vote, but he also can fight Tyler head up in the African-American community. So I think Perkins and Taliaferro are the 2 greatest challenges for Miss Tyler the second round, and that's what I think she's worried about.
22 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic update now. Here's Ruben.
Starting things off looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Uri Drive near Southfield Road. Watch out for patches of dense fog, and if you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Partly sunny skies today with a high of 88. Tonight will be dropping down to a low of 72, reaching 90 degrees for the high tomorrow with mostly sunny skies, 73 tomorrow night, and for your Thursday, a mix of clouds and sun, 88 degrees for the high. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Derek Witt.
Twenty-four past 6 o'clock, time for Keel Sports. Tim's here.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. LSU quarterback Joe Burrow picked up the SEC Offensive Player of the Week award for his performance on Saturday night. In the win against Ole Miss, Burrow accounted for 4 touchdowns, 3 through the air and 1 on the ground. He passed for 292 yards and added 96 rushing, both career highs. The Shreveport Times' Roy Lang reports that 3 members of the Shreveport Mudbugs have been suspended for 1 game following a wild 4-zip loss to Corpus Christi on Saturday. Jason Campbell, the head coach, along with goalie Leo Sheward, as well as Josh Barraclaw, will miss the October 12th game unless they get it reversed on appeal. Monday Night Football was a doozy. Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes did a little bit of this and a little bit of that in a 27-23 win in Denver. Mahomes delivered a pair of touchdown passes and added 1 on the ground to lead the Chiefs to their 4th win in 4 games. And in playoff action in baseball, Los Angeles knocked off Colorado to win the National League West, sending Colorado to the wild card game in Chicago, where they will face the Cubs, who were beaten by the Brewers for the National League Central title. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert and Erin, 627. May I quote you from a text you sent me last evening?
Sure. No, not the foul language.
No.
Okay.
What you said about, when Miss Ollie actually got back to you after about 10 days to 2 weeks, and you said, hooray, I'm not dead to her.
Yeah.
Do you have the text you sent her?
I do.
See, people had asked me, and I'm sure they've asked you.
What did I do to her, right?
When we had the mayor candidates on last week, and they said, well, you had the 4 challengers on. Why didn't you have Miss Ollie on? And I would say because she didn't get back to Erin yet. Well, in fact, yesterday, after a number of inquiries. I almost said inquisitions, but that's in the next term. After a number of inquiries, she got back to you. And do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, I do.
Proceed, please.
Ms. McCarty, I just got home from my last engagement. I know you go to bed early because of your work day. Do you need to ask me something about the campaign? Ollie Tyler. I said, yeah, I was trying to schedule you. I've called your campaign office several times. Last conversation, I was told they would get with you and pick a date. Let me read this long thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right. I will let you know if I should take advantage of that opportunity. Since we did a mayoral forum on your show, I'm trying to get to many other groups who have made requests. It is very demanding to run a city and do all of the campaigning that others are doing. My first responsibility is to the citizens who elected me to serve for 4 years. Many city engagements are already scheduled that are not campaign related, and I feel that my commitment to them is greater than trying to campaign for re-election the last few months of my 4-year term.
What's that sound like to you, a woman who knows she's 10 points ahead?
I will let you know later. Thanks for inviting me to appear on your radio show again. I sincerely appreciate you for inviting me, Ollie Tyler.
Mm-hmm. So I ask you again, what does that sound like to you? A woman who knows she's 10 points ahead.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I don't get anything by coming and talking to you guys.
No, it doesn't help me.
Uh-uh.
There was an earlier text I got from her, too. Hang on a minute. This is...
I mean, when you read that, what were your first thoughts?
She's not coming.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
she says right there, I ain't coming.
And the first text I sent her was yesterday morning at 10:05. Can you call me when you have a chance?
Well, this is after you had contacted her campaign office.
Yeah, several times.
And received no answer. And contacted her at the mayor's office and had received no answer.
And yesterday afternoon, about 1:30, she said, may I call later this evening? My days and evenings have been unbelievably busy. And I said, yes, ma'am. And then I got that other text from her.
About I ain't coming.
Yeah. I'm still holding out hope. But then I sent an email to the police department and the chief and copied the mayor to get someone on about National Night Out. And she followed right up on that. She said, be sure we have somebody to talk about that tomorrow.
That doesn't involve her coming in.
Yeah, exactly.
No, she's not coming in.
She's not coming?
Unless...
Am I dead to her, though?
No.
I'm still alive.
This show is.
Am I on life support?
She's not coming in. And you said something very interesting. If I may be so bold.
Go ahead.
What you said was, if she wins re-election, we'll never see her again.
You think she never comes in here again?
If she's got something to talk about, that behooves her and not us.
Okay.
Remember,
just to come in here and us wing it at her. She's not doing it.
No.
Never doing it.
Running the city's very time consuming.
Yeah.
At 7 in the morning. 629, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update just ahead of local news. Here's Ruben.
Starting things off looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Uri Drive near Southfield Road. Watch out for patches of dense fog, and if you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Partly sunny skies today with a high of 88. Tonight we'll be dropping down to a low of 72, reaching 90 degrees for the high tomorrow with mostly sunny skies, 73 tomorrow night, and for your Thursday, a mix of clouds and sun, 88 degrees for the high. With your AccuWeather forecast.
Information. KEEL News now.
In the tragic death of a Barksdale airman in Bossier, police have now made 2 arrests. Both of those arrested are teenagers. One is 17-year-old Jerry Ona Crosby, and a 15-year-old boy have also been arrested in the death of Joshua Kidd. Kidd, an airman at Barksdale, was shot in the Green Acres Place subdivision in Bossier City, apparently while pursuing burglary suspects. He eventually died from a gunshot wound to his chest. The teenagers have been arrested and booked for second-degree murder. A gunman's on the run after fatal shooting in Shreveport. Matt Parker with that.
An argument Monday afternoon in the Western Hills neighborhood of Shreveport leads to murder. According to police, the victim and a woman were arguing in the front yard of a home on Madera Drive. At some point during the argument, the gunman came up and shot the victim in the head and chest. Investigators say that no arrests have been made in the case, but they believe they know who the shooter is. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
A Shreveport man locked up after taking shots at officers. According to police, officers were called to a home on Cresswell about 10 p.m. When they got there, the man pulled a gun and began shooting at them. He led them on a foot chase around the neighborhood. Eventually, he was caught. A dog is dead after being thrown out of a moving car in Webster Parish on I-20. The animal was bound with tape and rope and was thrown out of the vehicle and dragged while still alive. The Webster Parish Humane Association, who took custody of the animal and tried to save it to no avail, is offering a $2,500 reward for information about the case. Humane Society officials say they're considering an additional $750 to help get people's attention. They say it's clearly felony animal abuse, which comes with a hefty sentence for those found guilty.
No less than $5,000, no more than $25,000 per offense, no less than 1 year in jail, no more than 10 per count. So those are substantive.
The dog, named Faith by the Webster Parish Humane Association, was found with a collar on. Some poll numbers starting to roll in the mayor's race. Local political analyst Scott Hughes tells KEEL News what the matchup's beginning to look like.
I think Tyler versus Taliaferro becomes interesting. I think Jim may have a better chance to, you saw the race where he went for city marshal. He may have some chance to make some crossover vote. That's what they're polling in that second poll that you saw.
Right.
And I think Tyler versus Jackson, I think Tyler beats Jackson very easily. And then Tyler versus Perkins becomes interesting as well. Perkins will get some white vote, he'll get some Republican vote, but he also can fight Tyler head up in the African-American community.
The election is November 6th. The governor announces a grant to increase school safety. Governor John Bel Edwards announcing the state's been awarded $3.6 million from the U.S. Department of Education. State Trooper John Kelly arrested and charged with felony abuse of office. An investigation into Kelly's alleged illegal activity began in August. Kelly's accused of using his access to law enforcement databases for unauthorized activities. This past weekend's cold front may have still left many across our state longing for that autumn feeling. While the front did knock humidity down a bit, still no need for hoodies or jackets quite yet. State climatologist Barry Kime says a more significant cold front is overdue.
Normally we've seen a significant front through Louisiana by this point in the year, but rest assured one is coming eventually.
Kime says we can expect to experience some fronts in the coming weeks. Democrats are increasingly questioning the credibility of Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, and Republicans are accusing the Democrats of trying to prevent Kavanaugh's confirmation. A vote in the Senate could come this week. Indonesia's disaster agency says the death toll from the earthquake and tsunami disaster on a central island is now over 1,200 and expected to continue climbing. Someone saw something and then said something, but the something that was seen really wasn't anything. It happened in North Dakota when a woman saw a sign saying, "Help me," that appeared to be written in blood. She called police. Well, it turns out it was just a Halloween decoration. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
1017 FM and 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. Okay, we have both of Louisiana's United States senators on in the 8 o'clock hour. We have Bill Cassidy, Senator Dr. Bill, at about 10 past 8 o'clock. Then we have Jeff. See, I was looking down at something else.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have John Kennedy at about 8:40. Is that about right?
8:35ish, yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
They have tight windows today, so we got to get them when we can get them.
You know, it's interesting because we talk about leftist-leaning media. Did you watch 60 Minutes the other night?
No, I did not.
As part of it, Scott Pelley interviewed both Lindsey Graham and Senator Kennedy. And during that, they asked them both, basically, so when this FBI investigation comes back, will you change your vote? Will you throw will you throw Kavanaugh under the bus? And, you know, the interesting thing about that is they didn't interview any Democrat senators saying when this comes back
negative, will you
if
change
it comes
your
back
vote?
Negative, would you vote for Kavanaugh?
Right.
But no, it's I don't know how.
They're never voting for Kavanaugh anyway. He could be a Boy Scout.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, they're not.
No,
voting
what
for
did I
him.
say a long time ago? The only SCOTUS nominee that Donald Trump could put up for nomination that the Democrats would consider voting for is Margaret Sanger. 639, 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic update coming up right now. Here's Ruben.
Starting things off looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Uri Drive near Southfield Road. Watch out for patches of dense fog, and if you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Partly sunny skies today with a high of 88. Tonight will be dropping down to a low of 72, reaching 90 degrees for the high tomorrow with mostly sunny skies, 73 tomorrow night, and for your Thursday, a mix of clouds and sun, 88 degrees for the high. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Derek Witt.
.117 FM and 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. It's 19 before 7 o'clock. Okay, so one of these sort of little sidebars to the mayor's race, well, not really the sidebar anymore, is whether or not there was a deal, or whether or not, is it safe to say, between Jim Talifero and Leo Savage, at one point there was sort of a gentleman's agreement.
There was discussion about doing
There
it.
was a gentleman's agreement, if not a deal. But as Scott Hughes said yesterday, once you get into the race and you've got a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of sweat equity, as it were, suddenly that deal doesn't seem like such a great idea.
Well, it depends on who you talk to about whether a deal was actually in place.
Oh, I don't know, Leo Savage. I don't know, Jim Talifero.
Not really. We discussed it. Did we shake on it and all that?
What did Leo say to you at the Captain Shreve Neighborhood Association?
He was a listening member of that convo, okay?
When you told this group that you had heard that.
No, this group told me.
Oh.
Well, I'm standing there with one other person and Leo Savage. It's
Okay.
three of us in the
So
convo.
this is the very first conversation
Yeah,
you
the
had.
very first conversation and Savage was acknowledging that had happened, but said we're too far down the road now, for that to happen.
So
we
later
got too much skin in the game.
Later on the next morning, when we were talking about this originally, the first day we talked about this potential deal, this possible deal, that you texted Mr. Jim And he didn't say no. He didn't say, what I'm saying is he did not say it had not been discussed.
He did not say it had not been discussed. He kind of similar to what Leo said, that it came up, but it's not a done deal or anything like that.
We didn't do high fives on the thing.
No, exactly.
Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884 on the possibly discussed Taliaferro-Savage deal. As a Republican official, that so-called Republican is stupid. Parties are made to influence elections. Talking about one that we'd gotten, the lady, I think it was a young woman had said that I'll never vote Republican again, or at least in this race, I won't vote Republican.
Yeah.
If this deal is true.
Right.
And I'm thinking that's how national parties do it all the time.
I got a Facebook message from a woman who was in the room who said, yeah, they kind of did cut a deal.
How many times do political factions run someone just to split the vote to protect their candidate? Nothing new. Shreveport Security Systems text line. As a Republican, I was thrilled when I heard of possible agreement for the trailing Republican to drop out and support the contender. That is just smart. We brought that topic up yesterday with political analyst Scott Hughes and started there. Is it a good idea, and do you see it as a necessary one?
If they both stay in, they are rolling the dice that one of the two can get to 20%.
Will be so overwhelmingly dominant of the other, and I've seen no evidence to think that will be the case. So literally, if the Republicans want a mayor, their only chance, correct me if I'm misunderstanding what you said, if the Republicans want a mayor, their only chance is for one of those two, Taliaferro-Savage, to hit the highway.
I wouldn't say their only chance. Their best chance would be. It's very
best
likely.
chance by a factor of, I would think, 10.
It's still that's still not their only chance. But I don't want to split numbers with you. But yes, I think they have a better chance if one drops out. The problem though now is structurally, I'm not sure one can drop out. At this point, the ballots are done.
I was going to ask you
that.
that.
At this point, the names are on the ballot. There's already candidates in other races that dropped out, and their name's still going to be on the ballot. Now, one can withdraw and announce it, and they can try to push the other candidate, and that may help them. But there is still a great chance, because if you look at the 40% number that may go vote, the ceiling that'll turn out, of that, it's going to probably be in a town that, like Shreveport, it's going to probably be a higher majority of Republicans, perhaps. Now, the key is going to be who's motivated. One of the concerns for candidates, I don't know if it's a concern for the system, but the concerns for candidates is there seems to be no real political money this time. We've had mayor races. You go back to Glover versus Jerry Jones a couple years ago, there was $1 million raised by one candidate. You know, I'm not sure we have a single candidate yet that may have raised $200,000 in the mayor's race. That may be a target number they're shooting for. So none of the candidates have the money to go move the needle right now.
You think they're trying? I mean, are they out there beating the bushes for cash right now?
I think they're trying. Number one, you've got an economy that's not as strong as it was years ago. Number two, you've got no one is out there. With an 8-person field, it's hard to decide who am I going to put my money on. Is my money safe? And the real problem, I think, for the money crowd is 4 years ago you had a very easy bet. 4 years ago you had Mayor Tyler, you had Victoria Provenza, and you had Representative Patrick Williams. And so for anyone with political sense, you look at that field and you said, easy money early on Ollie. And yet everyone bet on Ollie, and she cruised to victory. Well, now if you look at the race, even if you're not happy with Ollie, she's the horse you've already bet on. She's the horse you've ridden for 4 years. Why are you moving away from her right now? And that's what you're really seeing. People may not be happy, but the money check writing people aren't going somewhere else yet.
Let me ask you this. I was out in District D doing a forum for the candidates for city council, and I was talking to residents out there, Scott, and I think all of us talking bozos may be mistaken some things about we're bloviators about this town, because the people in District D, when you talk about them about what do they care about, I just want my trash picked up. I just want my tree limbs picked up. They weren't worried about crime or jobs. They're all employed. They're doing fine. They just want their dang trash picked up, and they feel like okay under the current administration. Are we missing the point for some neighborhoods and how they're going to vote?
No, and that's my point on only 40% are going to go vote. 60% won't. Of those that go vote, a lot don't even know who's on the ballot yet. And you're talking about basic services. In government, we call that delivery of basic services. Is the water coming on? Is the trash being picked up? Are my streets generally drivable? And I think that they're either happy or they're not upset enough that it's going to make them do something else. And then back to the field. They look at these other 7 candidates in the mayor's race. They haven't seen that person that's rising to the top yet. Now, when we get to the second round and it gets head-to-head, then maybe some people will stop and focus and they'll say, how happy am I? But right now, I think Ms. Tyler is probably the safe bet for a lot of people. And that's why, you have to draw the whole town. If you've not gotten in Shreveport and gotten on the inner loop and go drive Shreveport one day. It will take you well over an hour to loop all the way around this town. It is an extremely large town, and I've described Shreveport before in some talks as more like New York. It's a town of boroughs, and we all live in our borough, whether it's Southwest East Shreveport, Southwest Shreveport, North Shreveport, Highland, Inner City, and we look at our borough and we think that's the rest of this town. And it's fundamentally not. They're completely different parts of town.
What's the key? Is there something, you kind of touched on it there in that last answer. Is there something nobody's paying attention to that we ought to be?
In the mayor's race?
Yeah.
I think the thing that money is the thing I look at. If you're looking for the hidden political, no one's giving money to anybody, and they're going to raise a couple $100,000, but that's nothing for a mayor's race for a major metropolitan city.
For a town this size,
For a town this size, and without money being invested, I know some people hate money in politics, but unfortunately, it's the juice that runs the machine. It's what lets you get your message out. And we all fall back on social media, and we think, oh, I can just do a social media Facebook campaign. Well, I think we learned in the last presidential election that becomes an echo chamber. You see that a little bit with the current Supreme Court nomination. Whatever your crowd is, you're seeing 90% of that on your social media. So you're not seeing the other candidates, you're not learning. And people hate the campaigns, ads on TV. We've had a lot of forums, and you're seeing a good attendance at forums. And so I think what you're going to see is you're going to see interest in the first round. You're going to see this really become a race the second round.
KEEL AccuWeather.com forecast, kind of sunny and even warmer today, low 90s. Right now, 68 at KEEL, 650. Here's your money now. $652, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL Sports Time.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. LSU quarterback Joe Burrow picked up the SEC Offensive Player of the Week award for his performance on Saturday night In the win against Ole Miss, Burrow accounted for 4 touchdowns, 3 through the air and 1 on the ground. He passed for 292 yards and added 96 rushing, both career highs. The Shreveport Times' Roy Lang reports that 3 members of the Shreveport Mudbugs have been suspended for 1 game following a wild 4-zip loss to Corpus Christi on Saturday. Jason Campbell, the head coach, along with goalie Leo Sheward, as well as Josh Barraclaw, will miss the October 12th game unless they get it reversed on appeal. Monday Night Football was a doozy. Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes did a little bit of this and a little bit of that in a 27-23 win in Denver. Mahomes delivered a pair of touchdown passes and added 1 on the ground to lead the Chiefs to their 4th win in 4 games. And in playoff action in baseball, Los Angeles knocked off Colorado to win the National League West, sending Colorado to the wild card game in Chicago, where they will face the Cubs, who were beaten by the Brewers for the National League Central title. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.101.7 FM and 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. Remember last week we had, what was it called, the True College Football Poll, and it was based on you had to be unbeaten, and it was the strength of your opponents and kind of stuff like. Did you know, by the way, that collectively speaking, Alabama's opponents this season are 500?
I would believe it.
Or
They're
would you
not
think
good.
that they would be below 500?
No, 500. They've played some cupcakes.
You know, the way the season's turning out, by the way, and at the end of the day, as we get into the college, the college football bowl poll, the one that really matters, they pick up in about week 5 or 6, whatever it happens to be.
When does that start?
It's a couple of weeks, I think. Is that Miami game is going to be meaningless. Them being ranked at the time will mean absolutely nothing for LSU.
I don't know.
No, it will. It depends on what they are now.
Yeah.
And they're not having a good year. Number 1, True College Football Poll. Notre Dame.
Huh?
Ohio State. LSU. Clemson. And Georgia, the top 5.
No Alabama.
Alabama, number 6.
Oh, boy.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Rush.
Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren helped extend the Democrat hit job on Brett Kavanaugh. Pocahontas claims that after she watched the hearing featuring Dr. Christine Ballsy Ford, she thought, time's up, meaning time's up for men. She said that she saw a bunch of powerful men helping another powerful man achieve a higher position of power, and this did not sit well with Pocahontas. Pocahontas says it's time for women to take over Washington and fix the broken government. Above all, she said we need a woman on top. Quick aside, I assume some guys would agree with that, but I digress. Don't want to picture it. Anyway, the senator says she's worried down to her bones about what Donald Trump is doing to America. After the November 6 midterms, she's going to take a real hard look at deciding whether to run against him for president. Well, Pocahontas, why wait? If you are so sure we need a woman on top in the Oval Office, if you are so sure you can fix what's broken in Washington and save America from Trump, why not throw your tomahawk into the ring right now and announce, we are waiting? Actually, we can't wait. Please do it. Cyber criminals, cyber bad guys can attack your laptop, your tablet, your smartphone without you even knowing. Or they can steal your identity, and you may not realize it until it's too late. That's why LifeLock Identity Theft Protection now includes the power of Norton Security to help protect your identity and your devices. LifeLock uses proprietary technology to help detect a range of threats to your identity. And Norton Security protects against online threats like ransomware or malware. And if there is a problem, LifeLock with Norton has agents who will work to fix it. Now, no one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor transactions at all businesses, but new LifeLock with Norton Security provides more detection and more protection against cyber threats. Go to lifelock.com or call 800-440-4833. Use the promo code RUSH for an additional 10% off your first year, plus a $25 Amazon gift card with annual enrollment. Terms apply.
Keeping an eye right now on some backed up traffic on I-20 eastbound between Pines Road and Monkhouse Drive due to construction. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
6:59, here's your KEELAccuWeather.com forecast. Mostly sunny and warmer again today. Maybe low 90s. Right now, 68 at Keel. Happy 7 o'clock. Here comes Fox News.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 7:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Erin, local news getting ready right now.
Talking about another murder in Shreveport. We'll have more on that. 2 teenagers arrested in the Barksdale Airman's murder. That's coming up this morning, too. And the mayor's race is heating up in Shreveport. We'll have that as well.
So right now, as you're getting ready to do news, as Fox News is wrapping up, you're texting Coach O.
Yeah, and I threw your butt under the bus.
Yeah, welcome to my world. So you're literally...
I'll read these texts to you in a minute.
You're literally in the middle of a text conversation...
with Coach O.
With Coach Ed Orgeron from LSU.
Yes, I am.
He
doesn't want to be.
In the 8 o'clock hour, both United States Senators from Louisiana, Cassidy and Kennedy, join us. Have you seen the latest about what Mr. John said about the Kavanaugh investigation? Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, it's all here this hour coming up on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
2 teenagers arrested in a Barksdale Airman's murder. Jeriona Crosby and a 15-year-old boy have been arrested in the death of Joshua Kidd, an airman at Barksdale. He was shot while outside his home in Green Acres Place in Bossier. Kidd eventually died from a gunshot wound to the chest. The 2 teens have been arrested. They're charged with second-degree murder. An argument Monday afternoon in West Shreveport leads to murder. But according to police, the victim and a woman were arguing in the front yard of a home on Madera Drive off of Pines Road. At some point during the argument, the gunman came up and shot the victim in the head and chest. Investigators say no arrests have been made in the case. KTBS is reporting today the chief judge of the Second Circuit Court of Appeals in Shreveport has abruptly retired after being the subject of a complaint about his behavior. The report says Judge Henry Brown, who's been on the court for 27 years, will retire effective tomorrow. Brown was the subject of complaints that he'd created a hostile work environment toward colleagues. A man arrested after taking shots at police. Matt Parker with that.
A Shreveport man is behind bars after taking shots at officers. According to Shreveport police, officers were called to a home in the 1200 block of Crestwell Avenue around 10 p.m. When they arrived, the man armed himself and began shooting at officers. The man then led police on a foot chase around the neighborhood. Eventually, he was captured behind a home on Olive Street. No officers were injured during the shooting or chase. Investigators believe that the man may have been high on drugs during their encounter. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Louisiana State Trooper John Kelly arrested, charged with felony abuse of office. An investigation into Kelly's alleged illegal activity began in August. Kelly's accused of using his access to law enforcement databases for unauthorized activities. The mayoral candidates are working hard to win your support, but political analyst Scott Hughes tells KEEL News it's beginning to look like incumbent Ollie Tyler has a lead. But he says she will still have to win over voters who don't pick her in the first round.
Even when I'm saying Ollie may have 35%, that still means 2 in 3 voters are not going to vote for her in the primary.
Hughes says the most interesting runoff contest would be Tyler against Jim Talifero or Tyler against Adrian Perkins. A family fighting to keep their child alive against doctor's orders in Texas. Ken Duffy with that.
The Cook Children's Medical Center in Fort Worth was about to remove 9-year-old Peyton Summons from life support, but her family obtained a temporary restraining order to keep that from happening. The order lasts for 2 weeks. The couple's attorney says the time is needed for the parents to find another hospital that'll take their daughter and keep her alive. But the judge in the case is holding a special hearing on Friday to reconsider that order. Peyton Summers is clinically brain dead, but the family's attorney says she is still hanging on because her heart is still beating. Ken Duffy, Fox News.
You know those electric scooters you see making their way around the streets of different cities these days? Well, they just don't mix well with alcohol either. An L.A. man has been fined more than $500 in order to pay restitution for riding an electric scooter while intoxicated and striking a pedestrian. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
$7:09, it's 101.7. Oh, gosh. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some backed up traffic on I-20 eastbound between Pines Road and Monkhouse Drive due to construction. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Partly sunny skies today with a high of 88. Tonight will be dropping down to a low of 72, reaching 90 degrees for the high tomorrow with mostly sunny skies, 73 tomorrow night. And for your Thursday, a mix of clouds and sun, 88 degrees for the high. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Derek Witt.
One oh one seven FM. Huh?
I'm embarrassed.
No, you're not. No.
I have no shame. You guys know that
Well,
already.
then why are you embarrassed?
Well,
you see, you think you're zany.
it's still a cringe factor.
This is not necessarily the worst. It's not the worst trait to have.
No, it's not.
To think you are the most entertaining person in the world, you meaning yourself.
No, I'm not that entertaining.
Yeah, you kind of do. You think this will be zany, this will be nutty. I'm going to 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. It's 12 after 7 o'clock. Matt, could you sum up for everyone the last 10 to 12 minutes pre and post local newscast?
Well, she's just been texting weird stuff to Coach O. Oh, I can't believe he's responding. Giggling like a schoolgirl making a crank call.
You literally...
I'll read you what we texted.
Coach O, do you have Prince Edward in the can? Better let him out.
Is your refrigerator running?
You better. Stop.
Yeah.
So tell everybody what you did.
So I'm feeling guilty. I've been really feeling guilty. My co-LSU folks are like You are sure wrong about the Tigers. You're wrong about the Tigers. They look good. And I got to thinking, because the post I did in August, when I predicted them to be 6-6, went statewide. It got picked up in South Louisiana, and it got spread.
Did it really?
Yes, it got spread all
and
around.
you were pilloried south of I-10. Well,
and
you were
people
pilloried in this room also.
People were upset with me.
Yeah.
So out of the blue, I just texted EO. I have EO in my phone.
I'm sorry, EO?
EO is what I call him.
Ed Orgeron.
Yeah.
Is that what you call him? Never mind.
Just
Go
out
ahead.
of the
Just
blue,
go
I
ahead.
said, I'm really sorry, Coach. Thinking, of course, he
Just
knows
out
who
of the
it is.
blue.
Out of the blue.
He got a text from you that said,
He has no clue who
I'm
this
really
is.
sorry,
Yeah.
Coach.
And then he responded.
As though like something horrible has happened that he doesn't know about.
Yeah, I know. Like one of his players got in a crash or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he thinks it may be like from the Baton Rouge police or something.
I know.
Good
So he texts me back right away. What? Who is this?
Imagine that.
That's how my text sounded. And then I said, it's Erin McCarty at KEEL in Shreveport. And then he said, what are you talking about? Then I said, sorry about this, Robert, just giving you a heads up.
It's all right.
I predicted 6-6 for the Tigers. And my co-host says I must apologize. Sorry to bother you. He hasn't answered me since.
I don't blame him.
Right under the bus. So I've apologized to Coach O. I feel better now.
On my behalf, nonetheless.
On your behalf, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm writing a post. I'm predicting the new season for the Tigers because we're 5-0 now.
Now,
a couple of the games I said we would lose, we didn't lose.
Based on your original prediction back in August, early to mid-August, what should the Tigers' record be? What should LSU record be at this point?
We should be 3-2.
3-2.
We should have lost to Miami and Auburn.
Yeah.
And we should have won the rest of them.
Okay. So the rest of the way then,
I said we were going to lose to Florida.
Over the last 7 games of the season, you predicted that the Tigers would go 4-3.
Yeah, because I said it would be 6-6 overall.
Right.
I said we'd lose to Florida, Alabama, Georgia, and Texas A&M. Well, now I'm changing that.
Would you like to enlighten us?
Yeah.
With the Tigers, with LSU currently being 5-0.
Yeah.
And ranked in varying polls, number 5 or 6 nationwide. And so the rest of the way, you have amended your wisdom as you've gotten wiser. You were wise to begin with.
No, I wasn't.
Until you texted Coach O.
Now we're going to be 10-2. We're going to lose to Bama, and I think we lose to Georgia. I had us losing to A&M and Florida, but that's not going to happen. I don't believe we're going to lose those games. I think we're going to be 10-2.
So originally, the rest of the way, you had losses to Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And you're taking back the A&M and the Florida game.
Yeah, I think we're going to win those games. I still think we lose to Georgia and Alabama. And if we win either one of those, I'll text him again. Apologize again.
I hope for his sake he blocked your number.
You think he blocked me?
If I were him, I would have.
Can he block me? Dang. I don't want to get blocked by EO. He's probably blocked me, hasn't he?
You could send him another text and see.
See?
But I would suggest you not.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay, coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, both of Louisiana's United States Senators will join us. Just after 8 o'clock, it'll be Dr. Bill Cassidy. Then at about 8:40, John Kennedy.
Yes.
Did you see Mr. John's latest interview? I'm not talking about Bill, Dr. Bill on 60 Minutes on Sunday.
No.
Senate Judiciary...
Dr. Bill was on 60 Minutes?
I'm sorry, Kennedy was on 60
Okay.
Minutes. Senate Judiciary Committee member John Neely Kennedy said Monday to those who think the investigations into Judge Brett Kavanaugh are aimed at truth-seeking, quoting now, "You ought to put down that bong." The Louisiana senator was responding to a new video of Julie Swetnick, the Kavanaugh accuser, being represented by celebrity lawyer Michael Avenatti, who claimed the judge attended gang rape parties in the 1980s. This entire thing makes me want to heave, said Kennedy. If you think this is about searching for the truth, you need to put down the bong. Kennedy said Democrats and those helping the activist opposition to Kavanaugh are about gamesmanship and political power. There's no corroboration of Swetnick's story, said Kennedy. She said that she attended 10 gang rapes at which Kavanaugh was supposedly involved, but then she didn't report any of them. Kennedy also expressed incredulity at Swetnick's counsel, Michael Avenatti. He does his dead-level best to make all this about himself, said Kennedy. So both of these senators will be, somebody brought up an interesting point last night, and you can think about it, you can comment, you can say whatever you want to say. But it comes down to this, as far as the Kavanaugh hearings. How much proof is required? You with me so far?
Mm-hmm.
How much proof is required to destroy someone's life?
Oh, boy, that's tough.
How much proof is required? No,
you need to be able to.
Not to me. How much proof is required? Let me even make it a little more specific. What is the burden of proof on an accuser when you are trying to destroy someone's life?
Beyond a reasonable doubt.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that. And I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't. I heard it in one of the FBI guys talking today on another media outlet and said they're all hands on deck. I mean, they're going at they're trying to find the parents of where the party was held.
Now you're seeing things about how he chugged beers and he farted and he did all these just un-SCOTUS-like acts.
Mm-hmm.
Think about, don't have to say it out loud. Think about some of the things you did between the ages of, say, 18 and 22.
Of course.
That if it all came out now, and not only came out now, but was framed in a way to make you seem like the worst person. Remember what we said a long time ago? This is going back a bunch of years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at the height of the reality TV show days. And you would say, man, you would come in and you say, did you see what so-and-so did? What horrible people they are.
Yeah.
Or did you see what X, Y, or Z did? I just love them so much.
But you just can't.
And I
you can't lie in front of the committee.
And I said to you, I said, because your kids were in school then,
mm-hmm.
and I said, Erin, imagine if for 30 days,
cameras follow. I know.
30 straight days, 10 or 12 hours a day, a TV camera followed you around.
Mm-hmm.
Then at the end of those 30 days, they took all the hours of that video of you parenting your children.
Yes.
And edited it down to your worst 60 seconds.
I would look like a horrible parent. But you don't get in front of the Judiciary Committee and tell a lie. That's the one. I got a local judge texted me that. A local conservative judge said, my issue is really not about the allegations. My issue is when he's sitting in front of the committee, did he lie to them?
So back to the original.
If he blacked out, say, yeah, I blacked out.
So back to the original question.
Didn't we all?
So back to the original question. How much proof do you have to destroy someone's life?
It's tough.
No, it's not. You have to have proof. You just can't make an accusation.
Well, if there's 8 people who come forward and say, yeah, he blacked out, then guess what? He lied to the committee.
But that's the whole point, is that I don't want to get into it. We'll start yelling at each other. Just keep this in mind. What is the burden of proof on an accuser? To literally destroy.
Forget about those accusations. I'm more worried about the lying to the panel now.
20
That's
past
what I'm
7
most
o'clock.
worried about.
20 past 7 o'clock. Kennedy and Cassidy join us just after 8 o'clock. 20 after 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some backed up traffic on I-20 eastbound between Pines Road and Monkhouse Drive due to construction. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Partly sunny skies today with a high of 88. Tonight will be dropping down to a low of 72, reaching 90 degrees for the high tomorrow with mostly sunny skies, 73 tomorrow night. And for your Thursday, a mix of clouds and sun, 88 degrees for the high. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Derek Witt.
22 past 7 o'clock. Here's KEEL Sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. LSU quarterback Joe Burrow picked up the SEC Offensive Player of the Week award for his performance on Saturday night. In the win against Ole Miss, Burrow accounted for 4 touchdowns, 3 through the air and 1 on the ground. He passed for 292 yards and added 96 rushing, both career highs. The Shreveport Times' Roy Lang reports that 3 members of the Shreveport Mudbugs have been suspended for 1 game following a wild 4-zip loss to Corpus Christi on Saturday. Jason Campbell, the head coach, along with goalie Leo Sheward, as well as Josh Barraclaw, will miss the October 12th game unless they get it reversed on appeal. Monday Night Football was a doozy. Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes did a little bit of this and a little bit of that in a 27-23 win in Denver. Mahomes delivered a pair of touchdown passes and added 1 on the ground to lead the Chiefs to their 4th win in 4 games. And in playoff action in baseball, Los Angeles knocked off Colorado to win the National League West, sending Colorado to the wild card game in Chicago, where they will face the Cubs, who were beaten by the Brewers for the National League Central title. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Oh, man, I saw this over the weekend and meant to mention it yesterday. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, 25 past 7 o'clock. You know whose birthday? It was either yesterday or Sunday. Matt, when we say the name, you'll know what it is I'm wanting you to play from your side of the gopher-shaped broadcast table. You know whose birthday you missed?
Who?
And I don't know if you noticed it on Facebook or not. His birthday was Sunday or yesterday. I think Sunday, now that I'm thinking about it. Ricky Kalman.
Oh, wow.
Hypnotist Ricky Kalman. The professional hypnotist / comedian who appeared here numbers of times in the late 90s and early 2000s, who said, after hypnotizing Erin McCarty on more than one occasion, said Erin McCarty is the most easily hypnotized human being. What? We have a change.
We have a guest right now.
Who's that?
Yeah, Angie Wilhite.
Oh.
We forgot to call her.
I thought she was calling us and she was running late.
No.
We'll come back to the Ricky Kalman story
Yeah, I know. I didn't want you to play
in the next
something. I know.
segment. I apologize.
It's National Night Out tonight.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I forgot to get her on the line. But they're hoping that you'll get out and get with your neighbors. Are you having a party at your house?
No.
You're not?
No, I turn the lights off. It's like Halloween.
Are you going out if they're cooking out?
No,
One of your neighbors?
I'll be at Sonic.
What?
No, seriously? Yeah, there's a huge thing in my neighborhood. In fact, we have those about once every 2 months where literally my HOA sets up bounce houses and swings and cooks out and does all sorts of zany stuff just to bring people in the neighborhood together. So one of the things that my HOA does that is awesome is sort of foment that fraternity or sorority-ness among neighbors.
Angie Wilhite, Shreveport Police Department. Sorry we're running late getting to you. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Erin. How are y'all?
We're good. National Night Out is a big deal. It can impact crime how?
It can impact crime by building those relationships with neighbors and police officers. Helps us all get to know each other a little better and establish those trusting connections where that will lead us to getting more information from our community.
How many parties are planned for tonight in Shreveport?
I think we ended up with 70 or 71 by the end of the day yesterday. So we're going to have a lot of action out there, and that's, north, south, east, and west. We have them spread out all over the city.
So explain to me well, sort of a two-part question. What will Shreveport police officers be doing in conjunction with National Night Out tonight? And as police officers, what do you hope to achieve from this evening in sort of mixing with folks around the city?
Well, and that's what we will be doing. We'll be out visiting. The fire department will be with us, out visiting the different neighborhood parties. And kudos to all the neighbors, because they work every year. Our community gets really excited about this event. So do we. But, they build they have some really great parties that we attend, and we appreciate them.
Well, then it's a good thing the police are there.
Yeah, well, yeah. We have a lot of fun. The fire department has a lot of fun. We get a lot of good food, man. The community, they feed us very well on National Night Out. And we get the opportunity to sit down in a relaxed atmosphere and speak with people. We still have our uniforms and all on, but we're not there answering a call. We're out, having conversations and getting to know our people.
Just humanize the guys behind the badge.
Absolutely.
We have lots of neighborhoods who've been doing this for years. But say I'm new to this and I didn't register, I can still participate tonight, right?
Yeah, you can participate. There'll be a neighborhood meeting close to you, first and foremost. And hey, you know what? Even if you didn't get your paperwork in time for your barricades to be put up or whatever, there's nothing to say you can't collectively get with your block or whatever, your immediate neighborhood, and throw something together real quick. Call us, let us know. We'll stop by.
And I apologize in advance because I poach a lot of these neighborhoods tonight. I just love to pop by and say hi.
Hey, that's a good thing. We'll probably see you out there then.
It's not
a
good thing, Angie. It's she steals hot dogs from people she doesn't know.
Yeah, well, I go to the ones that have steaks, but that's a whole nother story.
Hello, Norris Ferry Landing. It's Erin. Jeez.
Angie, thank you so much, and thanks for what you guys are doing tonight. I know it's a busy night. We appreciate everything you do.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Erin. Y'all have a good day.
29 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. But Southern Trace Car, don't you know who I am?
Exactly.
Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some backed up traffic on I-20 eastbound between Pines Road and Monkhouse Drive due to construction. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Partly sunny skies today with a high of 88. Tonight will be dropping down to a low of 72, reaching 90 degrees for the high tomorrow with mostly sunny skies, 73 tomorrow night, and for your Thursday, a mix of clouds and sun, 88 degrees for the high. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Derek Witt.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
In the tragic death of a Barksdale airman in Bossier, police have now made 2 arrests. Both of those arrested are teenagers. One is 17-year-old Jerry Ona Crosby, and a 15-year-old boy have also been arrested in the death of Joshua Kidd. Kidd, an airman at Barksdale, was shot in the Green Acres Place subdivision in Bossier City, apparently while pursuing burglary suspects. He eventually died from a gunshot wound to his chest. The teenagers have been arrested and booked for second-degree murder. A gunman's on the run after fatal shooting in Shreveport. Matt Parker with that.
An argument Monday afternoon in the Western Hills neighborhood of Shreveport leads to murder. According to police, the victim and a woman were arguing in the front yard of a home on Madera Drive. At some point during the argument, the gunman came up and shot the victim in the head and chest. Investigators say that no arrests have been made in the case, but they believe they know who the shooter is. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
A Shreveport man locked up after taking shots at officers. According to police, officers were called to a home on Cresswell about 10 p.m. When they got there, the man pulled a gun and began shooting at them. He led them on a foot chase around the neighborhood. Eventually, he was caught. A dog is dead after being thrown out of a moving car in Webster Parish on I-20. The animal was bound with tape and rope and was thrown out of the vehicle and dragged while still alive. The Webster Parish Humane Association, who took custody of the animal and tried to save it to no avail, is offering a $2,500 reward for information about the case. Humane Society officials say they're considering an additional $750 to help get people's attention. They say it's clearly felony animal abuse, which comes with a hefty sentence for those found guilty.
No less than $5,000, no more than $25,000 per offense, no less than 1 year in jail, no more than 10 per count. So those are substantive.
The dog, named Faith by the Webster Parish Humane Association, was found with a collar on. Some poll numbers starting to roll in the mayor's race. Local political analyst Scott Hughes tells KEEL News what the matchup's beginning to look like.
I think Tyler versus Taliaferro becomes interesting. I think Jim may have a better chance to, you saw the race where he went for city marshal. He may have some chance to make some crossover vote. That's what they're polling in that second poll that you saw.
Right.
And I think Tyler versus Jackson, I think Tyler beats Jackson very easily. And then Tyler versus Perkins becomes interesting as well. Perkins will get some white vote, he'll get some Republican vote, but he also can fight Tyler head up in the African-American community.
The election is November 6th. The governor announces a grant to increase school safety. Governor John Bel Edwards announcing the state's been awarded $3.6 million from the U.S. Department of Education. State Trooper John Kelly arrested and charged with felony abuse of office. An investigation into Kelly's alleged illegal activity began in August. Kelly's accused of using his access to law enforcement databases for unauthorized activities. This past weekend's cold front may have still left many across our state longing for that autumn feeling. While the front did knock humidity down a bit, still no need for hoodies or jackets quite yet. State climatologist Barry Kime says a more significant cold front is overdue.
Normally, we've seen a significant front through Louisiana by this point in the year, but rest assured one is coming eventually.
Kime says we can expect to experience some fronts in the coming weeks. Democrats are increasingly questioning the credibility of Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, and Republicans are accusing the Democrats of trying to prevent Kavanaugh's confirmation. A vote in the Senate could come this week. Indonesia's disaster agency says the death toll from the earthquake and tsunami disaster on a central island is now over 1,200 and expected to continue climbing. Someone saw something and then said something, but the something that was seen really wasn't anything. It happened in North Dakota when a woman saw a sign saying, "Help me," that appeared to be written in blood. She called police. Well, it turns out it was just a Halloween decoration. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Well, rats. Because we're running a couple of minutes late, and I really wanted to talk about Ricky Kalman, the hypnotist's birthday.
Yeah.
And your history with the professional hypnotist who once said, we'll get to it at some point this morning, I promise, because there's a lot of people that have not heard the audio of you being hypnotized.
Oh, can't wait for that.
Ricky Kalman, professional hypnotist, who said you were the, singularly speaking, he said at the time, and this is going back about 10 years or so, maybe a little longer, he said, you know, I've been a professional on-stage hypnotist for 16 years. And I've never, this is his quote, I've never come across anyone who's more easily hypnotized than Erin McCarty.
Oh, my.
Do you remember him saying that?
Yes,
or
I do.
Were you under at the time?
I remember him saying it. Oh, so sad. It's embarrassing.
Yes, but entertaining.
It's
So I
embarrassing.
promise you we'll get to that before the show's over. 739, 1017 FM, 710 Keel from Pelican Institute. Daniel Erspalmer, who is the director. They have a vision for the state. This conservative think tank does. We'll see what's up next. Traffic update. Ruben's here.
The intersection at Linwood Avenue and West 70th Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some backed-up traffic on I-20 eastbound between Pines Road and Monkhouse Drive due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Partly sunny, warm, and humid today with a high of 88 degrees expected. Tonight dropping down to a low of 72. 90 degrees for your high tomorrow, 73 tomorrow night for your low. And on Thursday, warm and humid with a high of 88. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Derek Witt.
Hey, you frustrated?
.117 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 741. The Shreveport Security Systems text line, 318-392-1884. And it's a blowing up. We'll discuss that a little bit later this hour. Daniel Erspalmer is the director, the head, the guiding light of Louisiana's very own Pelican Institute. Hey, Mr. Daniel, welcome back to Keel. Daniel Erspalmer, how you doing today?
Hey, good morning. Great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Well, we have the email with all the Pelican Institute bullet points, and the one at the very top says, Pelican Institute, a new policy, platform, and vision for the state. What is your vision for the state?
Well, you know, as you and your listeners well know, people across the state have been feeling the pain of economic decline and the loss of jobs and opportunity here for too long. And politicians keep kicking the can down the road, and we've reached that day of reckoning where we have to decide, are we for a failed status quo, or is it time for something new and a policy agenda that can really bring jobs and opportunity back to Louisiana and strengthen working families, and that's what we're all about.
Daniel, part of this, I'm looking at it now, says solve our annual fiscal crisis by adopting a more comprehensive, holistic approach to reform our antiquated budget system. Sounds great, Daniel. How the heck you going to do it?
Erin, as you know, this has been just a constant battle year to year, and we'll have a lot more to say about that. That's our first deep dive. Expect once a month between now and March, a deep dive report into each of these policy areas. But the short answer is we've got to bring our budget process into the 21st century and remove it out of the specter of of Huey Long and Edwin Edwards, and so it's time to end those arbitrary silos, those non-reviewed government spending dedications. We've got to look at what real spending caps look like that have teeth to them, so we stop ratcheting up the budget every time we have a little bit of economic success, and really bolster that rainy day fund and put more transparency into the whole process so taxpayers really know what they're paying.
Okay, Daniel, I'm loving this. Lower
Yes.
and flatten personal and corporate income tax rates by eliminating most deductions and credits. Does that let me keep more of my money?
It absolutely lets you keep more of your money, and better yet, it makes it easier to figure out. You know, if you're an entrepreneur in particular, or just a family, trying to navigate the complexities of Louisiana's tax code means that there's a cost to that too. There's a cost to business for attorneys and lobbyists and accountants, and same for our families. And so we've got to simplify that tax code dramatically. And make sure, again, as you say so well, that taxpayers get to keep more of their hard-earned
Pardon me, Daniel. Erin's jaw just dropped. What did you just see you hadn't seen?
Oh, Daniel, you've lost your mind.
Oh, no.
Okay, you ready? Here's one.
I'm ready.
Here's another one. You gone crazy. Ensure that every Louisiana child has access to a high-quality education of their choosing?
Amen.
How you gonna pay for that, Daniel?
Well, we already spend well more than $10,000 a child to educate kids here, and as you and I well know, the results do not match the expenditure, and it's time to change that. We're going to have a lot more details on that in a few months, but at the end of the day, we owe it to our kids. We owe it to building a quality workforce that can actually recruit jobs to the state, to have an education system that really can work for every child and meet the needs of every child. And we know that does not come from one-size-fits-all solutions. And we've got a big opportunity and a big challenge ahead to get that done.
Mr. Daniel, this is pretty big stuff by the Pelican Institute. Pretty big stuff. How can this be accomplished without a constitutional convention?
Well, the short answer to that's a great question. It certainly can be, but I think it's awfully hard. I think, our position has been we care about the outcomes more than the process, but it's awfully hard to imagine getting this kind of fundamental change without convening a convention or some major effort to reform our complicated and convoluted state constitution.
You know, sort of related to that, during the budget fight of the last special sessions, the topic of a constitutional convention came up over and over again and seemed to be gaining a little traction. Do you feel like that all the budget stuff is behind us, that it's sort of losing a little bit of its top of mindedness, or are people still talking about it, especially in the circles you run in?
People are absolutely still talking about it, and I think to imagine that our budget woes are actually behind us is probably fantasy, though it sounds really nice. We're going to have those problems time and time again until we actually fix the solution. So it's not a slam dunk by any means. I'm not saying it's folks are going to come in and make that happen, but the momentum is still building on that, and it's still very much a topic of conversation.
Daniel Ersbaumer with the Pelican Institute. I'm going to read you this one. You're obviously not drinking buddies with the governor. Unwind the expansion of Medicaid to able-bodied adults by freezing future eligibility. Does that save our state a chunk of money?
It's a huge part. It saves the state a chunk of money, and it makes the program work better for the folks most at risk and for the folks it's most supposed to serve. As you know, we added more than 450,000 able-bodied adults to the Medicaid rolls, and that's crowding out services and opportunities and expanding waiting lists for the traditional Medicaid population, those individuals across our state who are most at risk. And if we're going to improve health care in the state, it starts by focusing those resources on the folks who most need it.
You know, Mr. Daniel, a little off topic, but not much, I wager. A couple of weeks ago, or less than 2 weeks, John Bell announces, holy cow, there's a $300 million budget surplus. And all the people who all along from this part of the state, Dodie Horton, Alan Seabaugh, Raymond Cruz, they didn't actually come out and say, I told you so, but they got to be thinking that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Those of us who are arguing against the necessity of raising taxes said all along a few things. One, we need far more transparency in tax collections, in the budget, in taxes altogether. And that would have helped us better understand where we stood before the legislature was bullied into raising taxes. And absolutely, I mean, this is a surplus for the last fiscal year, so it tells us something about what the next fiscal year, the one we're currently in, the current one in which we raise taxes, could be. And you know, if you do the math, it seems pretty clear that those tax increases prove once again to be unnecessary, and now we've ratcheted up government once again, a root of the problem we're trying to solve with fundamental reform.
Daniel Erspamer, Pelican Institute. We'll put this whole
may
report
I interject?
online.
PelicanInstitute.org, right?
You got it.
Yeah, we'll put your report on our website, KEELnews.com, here in just a few minutes. Great reading, and gosh, I hope you get half of it done. That'd be awesome.
Well, me too. It's going to take us all coming together to do it, and I appreciate you giving me a few minutes to talk about it, and I hope I can come back as we release each of these issue reports.
You bet, Daniel. Thanks.
Thank you. Have a great day.
749 Keel traffic. Here's Ruben.
Still dealing with some backed up traffic on I-20 eastbound between Pines Road and Monkhouse Drive due to construction. And we have reports of a stalled vehicle on 3132 eastbound near Walker Road. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Here's your KeelAccuWeather.com forecast. Kind of sunny and warmer again today. Low 90s. Right now, 68 at Keel at 750. Here comes your money now. Good morning. It's 8 before 8 o'clock. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel Sports Time.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. LSU quarterback Joe Burrow picked up the SEC Offensive Player of the Week award for his performance on Saturday night. In a win against Ole Miss, Burrow accounted for 4 touchdowns, 3 through the air and 1 on the ground. He passed for 292 yards and added 96 rushing, both career highs. The Shreveport Times' Roy Lang reports that 3 members of the Shreveport Mudbugs have been suspended for 1 game following a wild 4-zip loss to Corpus Christi on Saturday. Jason Campbell, the head coach, along with goalie Leo Sheward, as well as Josh Barraclaw, will miss the October 12th game unless they get it reversed on appeal. Monday Night Football was a doozy. Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes did a little bit of this and a little bit of that in a 27-23 win in Denver. Mahomes delivered a pair of touchdown passes and added 1 on the ground to lead the Chiefs to their 4th win in 4 games. And in playoff action in baseball, Los Angeles knocked off Colorado to win the National League West, sending Colorado to the wild card game in Chicago, where they will face the Cubs, who were beaten by the Brewers for the National League Central title. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.755, it's 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL coming up just after 8 o'clock. United States Senator Dr. Bill Cassidy. And then at about 8:40, Senator John Kennedy joins us.
Yeah, big hour coming up.
Also, we will cover once again, because evidently, to use your words, hooray, I'm not dead to her.
Yeah, I'm not dead.
You got a text yesterday, or did you have a conversation with Mayor Ollie Tyler?
We had a text conversation.
We've got about a minute and a half, because the question I'm getting from so many folks is, hey, you guys had the 4 candidates on last week, 4 of the 5. You had Perkins, you had Talaferro, you had Savage, you had Steven Jackson, but there was someone conspicuous in her absence, i.e., the current mayor of the city of Shreveport.
Well, I have invited the mayor through her campaign office, because we handle her campaign stuff separate from city business.
See if I got this right. Hold on. So originally, you texted, you contacted, you called on more than one occasion the campaign office.
Yes.
No response.
Well, I talked to a person early on who said I'll get with her and see which day is good for her.
And
never heard back.
So
called repeatedly.
So then you called the mayor's office directly.
I didn't really do that. I texted the mayor I'll just say I texted the mayor.
Okay.
On a number she's given me to text her on.
And did you ever hear back?
And I asked her, and she said, will you be able to do this?
So, pardon me, what was the time frame between your original text to the mayor and you receiving a text yesterday?
10:30 yesterday morning, and then she texted me back about 1:30 in the afternoon. She said, can I call you later tonight? And I said, sure. Well, then she texted me later in the evening, and she talked about, I just got home. I know you go to bed early because of your work day. Do you need to ask me something about the campaign? I said, yeah, I was trying to schedule you for some solo time on the air. I've called your office, the campaign office, and haven't heard back. And she sent me this. I will let you know if I should take advantage of that opportunity. Since we did a mayoral forum on your show, I'm trying to get to many other groups who have made requests. It is very demanding to run a city and do all of that campaigning that the others are doing. My first responsibility is to the citizens who elected me to serve for 4 years. So it goes on, but I know we got to take a break.
Basically, no.
I don't think it's going to happen. She said, I will let you know later.
Sounds like somebody who knows she's 5 to 10 points ahead.
I sincerely appreciate you for inviting me.
7:57, here's Hannity on KEEL.
Waking up on the right side. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
And after 2 years of trying to destroy the president, they want to crescendo their way back into power, just forgetting the 8 years of Obama, which were disastrous. We've got this election. You're going to tune in that night, and you're going to flip the channels, and you're going to be watching news channels, and you're either going to be seeing happy anchors all over the country, or you're going to once again shock the world. and you're going to defy the odds, and you're sick of their agenda, this bludgeoning of Kavanaugh, the agenda to just destroy Trump, the agenda of higher taxes, they want their crumbs back, the agenda of open borders and eliminating ICE, the agenda of keeping Obamacare, the agenda of no originalists on the court. They want judicial activists on the court.
From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
They may not be your ordinary political pundits, but these days, that's a good thing. These mamas make sense. Terry Netterville and Denise Arthur. Listen to Mama on American Ground Radio. Weeknights from 6 to 7 p.m. Right here on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. And streaming live at KEELnews.com.
7:59, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic time.
The intersection at Linwood Avenue and West 70th Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some backed-up traffic on I-20 eastbound between Pines Road and Monkhouse Drive due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Partly sunny skies today with a high of 88. Tonight will be dropping down to a low of 72. Reaching 90 degrees for the high tomorrow with mostly sunny skies, 73 tomorrow night. And for your Thursday, a mix of clouds and sun, 88 degrees for the high. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Derek Witt.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 8:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Miss Erin getting local news ready. It's up next.
2 teenagers arrested in the Barksdale airman's death. We'll have that. Fatal shooting in West Shreveport. That's coming up, too. And the mayor's race is heating up in Shreveport.
Coming up, this hour, both of Louisiana's United States senators on the Kavanaugh stuff. Dr. Bill Cassidy in less than 10 minutes, and John Kennedy coming up just after 8:40 or so. Traffic and weather, Fletcher and sports. It's all this hour coming up on Keel.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
2 teenagers arrested in the Barksdale airman's murder. Matt Parker with that.
Jeriona Crosby and a 15-year-old boy have been arrested in the death of Joshua Kidd. Kidd, an airman at Barksdale, was shot outside his home in Green Acres Place in Bossier City. Kidd eventually died from a gunshot wound to his chest. The 2 teens have been arrested and booked for second-degree murder. They are also being charged with 10 counts of simple burglary. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
A gunman is on the run after a fatal shooting in West Shreveport. It happened in the Western Hills neighborhood. It led to murder. According to police, the victim and a woman were arguing in the front yard of a home on Madeira Drive. At some point during the argument, the gunman came up and shot the victim in the head and chest. Investigators say no arrests have been made in the case, but they believe they know who the shooter is. A Shreveport man is locked up after taking shots at officers. According to police, officers were called to a home on Cresswell Avenue around 10 p.m. When they got there, the man pulled a gun and began shooting at them. The man then led police on a foot chase around the neighborhood. Eventually, he was captured behind a home on Olive Street. The mayor's race in Shreveport's heating up as polls start rolling in. But political analyst Scott Hughes says it's still way too early for a lot of folks.
Only 40% are going to go vote. 60% won't. Of those that go vote, a lot don't even know who's on the ballot yet.
Hughes says current Mayor Ollie Tyler is a clear front-runner, but a Tyler-Taliaferro runoff could get interesting. He also says if Adrian Perkins makes the runoff, that could also be a close race. State police say one of their troopers has been arrested and placed on leave. Trooper John C. Kelly of Troop G in our area is facing a charge of felony abuse of office. Louisiana has the highest FAFSA submission rates in the nation, according to a new report. That means more students than ever are applying to see what financial aid they can get. Education Tech senior consultant Stephanie Markham says the 84% participation rate comes down to a new mandate for graduating high school seniors.
The Board of Elementary and Secondary Education implemented a policy that said as a condition of graduation, a student must either complete a FAFSA or a TOPS application.
It's estimated by 2020 that 65% of all jobs will require some kind of post-secondary education. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
Past 8 o'clock. It's 1017 FM 710 Keel traffic update right now.
The intersection at North Spring Street and East Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Swan Lake Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Partly sunny skies today with a high of 88. Tonight will be dropping down to a low of 72, reaching 90 degrees for the high tomorrow with mostly sunny skies, 73 tomorrow night. And for your Thursday, a mix of clouds and sun, 88 degrees for the high. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Derek Witt.
Good morning. It's 8:11. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Keel app is a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. One of our two, the senior senator from the state of Louisiana, representing our state in the United States Senate. Dr. Bill Cassidy is here. Hey, Dr. Bill, welcome back to Keel. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Robert. Thank you for having me, man.
I know you're kind of on a time schedule, so when you got to run, just say, oops, got to go. Thanks, we'll talk to you soon, okay? Just to give you a heads up, because I know you are sort of time restricted. You and I spoke. The three of us spoke maybe, it was right around the time of the Kavanaugh nomination announcement. And I said to you, you said to me, we sort of tossed it back and forth. We have no idea how dirty the Democrats are going to make this. And we kind of chuckled and rolled our eyes. We really didn't, did we?
We did not. When one person can make an allegation against another on an event 36 years earlier, of which everyone who the alleger says was there, all four people who are, you're there, these four people are there, all say it didn't happen, including the best friend of the person making the allegation. He has no remembrance. And then still a person's life is destroyed. It is incredibly scary. And it's scary for you, for me, for Erin, you name it, and all bets are off.
Let's talk about for a second the politics of the situation. Quoting you, here's a headline. Senate Democrats don't want the truth. They want delay. In your mind, does that mean when the FBI investigation, according to Fox, it could be today or tomorrow? Does that mean you anticipate more accusations, more delays? What do you think?
Of course. By the way, delay. As Kavanaugh said, this is going from advise and consent to search out and destroy. And so they're saying, wait a second, no, it can't be done in a week. We need an open-ended timeline for investigation. And we can't stop with 5 people, 3 people, 23 people, 25 people. We must keep on going. it is delay. By the way, they were very open about it. Before even Kavanaugh came out, Chuck Schumer said he was going to do whatever it took to stop whomever Trump nominated from being approved. And you may recall there was a woman from New Orleans being considered. There's already a website reserved, Stop Coney Barrett. And if you go stopconeybarrett.com, and the little blurb there says website to be developed. Well, it is to be developed if she's ever nominated. It is just a question of blocking Trump's appointees no matter what.
Senator Cassidy, real quickly, if Judge Kavanaugh was not honest before the Judiciary Committee about his drinking or about any of these other issues, do you have a problem with that? Let's disregard the other allegations. If he told lies to the committee, do you have issues with that?
So what is the issue? 36 years ago, when he was a high school kid and a college student, he may have had more beers than he remembers, or that people may have perceived he had more beers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I'm a liver doctor, and one of the great quotes in liver disease is, what is moderate drinking is what the doctor drinks. So if you drink more than the doctor, you're a heavy drinker. If you drink less than the doctor, you're a light drinker. But if you drink what the doctor drinks, you're a moderate drinker. It came to mind once because we asked a resident, he said the guy's a moderate drinker. And we said, how much does he drink a day? 2/5. And the attending said to the resident, 2/5? How much do you drink a day? He goes, 2/5. So if it's a question of perception about a memory 36 years ago, that is a question of perception.
But answer it. If he lied, do you have an issue with that?
If he lied about whether or not he was there and whether or not he assaulted, absolutely. That is not permissible. That is not permissible.
You know, there are criticisms of some of the Republicans on the Judiciary Committee for not standing up in more strongly to the Democrats. Well, something that you have done, I love this. Bill Cassidy calls for FBI investigation into the Democrats that are investigating. Tell us about that. What did you mean?
Did you notice that when Kavanaugh basically had the insight that this was a coordinated smear campaign, that a couple of the Democratic senators took offense at that? Well, wait a second, we're coordinating this? You've got to be kidding us. When clearly it's a coordinated campaign. But they're attempting to say, oh, it's not, is to create in the minds of the American people this is honest probing with no no kind of preset strategy or agenda. Well, let's find that out. If it really is coordinated, if indeed it was calculated not to release Dr. Ford's letter to the FBI when she first submitted it, so that all this could be done confidentially, so that Dr. Ford's anonymity could be protected as Dr. Ford wished it to be, and instead, after Kavanaugh went through his hearings, then it was revealed to kind of be a hand grenade exploding, was that calculated? Was it leaked to the Washington Post? Because people are denying that it was leaked, yet the Washington Post got it. And so how do we kind of square all that? I think that the American people would be well served if they understood the strategy and the techniques behind all
Was Feinstein the leak, in your opinion?
Well, she denies it. So just perhaps it was a staff person. But somebody leaked it. And since she, another congresswoman, and their staff were the only ones that had it, either we say Dr. Ford leaked it or we say that one of those offices did. But it strains credulity, if you will. It's hard to believe that it just mysteriously showed up at the Washington Post.
Are you a yes vote regardless of what this week's FBI investigation shows?
Of course not. But since every testimony was given under penalty of felony, and now the FBI is going back and taking testimony under penalty of felony, I don't expect the testimony to change. So if it changes, hey, then we reconsider. If it is exactly the same, if somebody did commit a felony when they testified as the way they did, including Dr. Ford's best friend, who says she can't remember it, if they were all committing felonies, well, then that would certainly be something to reconsider.
Senator Bill Cassidy, I know you got to step into a meeting. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for the extra time, Dr. Bill. Always our pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
17 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Senator John Kennedy on this same topic in less than 20 minutes. Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at North Spring Street and East Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Swan Lake Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Partly sunny skies today with a high of 88. Tonight will be dropping down to a low of 72, reaching 90 degrees for the high tomorrow with mostly sunny skies, 73 tomorrow night. And for your Thursday, a mix of clouds and sun, 88 degrees for the high. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Derek Witt.
Nineteen past 8 o'clock, time for KEEL Sports. Here's Tim.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. LSU quarterback Joe Burrow picked up the SEC Offensive Player of the Week award for his performance on Saturday night. In the win against Ole Miss, Burrow accounted for 4 touchdowns, 3 through the air and 1 on the ground. He passed for 292 yards and added 96 rushing, both career highs. The Shreveport Times' Roy Lang reports that 3 members of the Shreveport Mudbugs have been suspended for 1 game following a wild 4-zip loss to Corpus Christi on Saturday. Jason Campbell, the head coach, along with goalie Leo Sheward, as well as Josh Barraclaw, will miss the October 12th game unless they get it reversed on appeal. Monday Night Football was a doozy. Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes did a little bit of this and a little bit of that in a 27-23 win in Denver. Mahomes delivered a pair of touchdown passes and added 1 on the ground to lead the Chiefs to their 4th win in 4 games. And in playoff action in baseball, Los Angeles knocked off Colorado to win the National League West, sending Colorado to the wild card game in Chicago, where they will face the Cubs, who were beaten by the Brewers for the National League Central title. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Does Medicare have
.1017 FM 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 22 past 8 o'clock.
I'm sorry, Coach O. I apologize.
Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. Save that for the 34 or 35 segment.
That's when Kennedy is 35.
Oh, is he going to be early with us?
He's early. Again, both senators have a weird schedule.
Well,
today.
then we need to talk about this now because you, look at me.
I'm a moron.
Yes. Well, what is this sort of personal buyer's remorse that you have? You this is going to be an awesome idea. 6:55. I've got an awesome idea.
I thought it was a good idea.
This will be zany. This will be nutty. I'm a wild woman.
I might schmooze my way into getting him on the radio.
And then like an hour later, you think, I have so screwed up my life.
Yeah, I'm probably blocked.
Okay, so what did you do?
I was feeling bad because my friends have been bragging me about me picking LSU to go 6-6.
You did originally. There was a post on the KEEL website, keelnews.com.
Yeah.
And you had said that LSU will lose too. Let me see if I can remember. You said, in my opinion, because you had read all the stuff from the Vegas odds makers, LSU's a 7-win team at best. And you looked at a new quarterback, a transfer quarterback, and you're thinking, wait a second, if this guy's so good, why didn't Ohio State want him? And you were not the most optimistic of LSU fans, crazed though you are.
I thought we would lose to Miami.
Hold on, let me see if I got this. Miami, they won that one.
Yeah.
Auburn,
Yeah.
they won that one. You expect, in your original assessment of the team 45 days ago, you said that they would lose to Florida,
Right.
Georgia, Alabama, and A&M.
Yes.
So the rest of the way,
And that would be 6 losses.
4 more losses. In your opinion, let me amend. In your original opinion,
Yeah.
so now that they're 5-0, what sort of guilt are you feeling?
I'm feeling a lot of guilt. I'm feeling really bad. And I decided that I was going to apologize to Coach O however I could.
Well, there's
Because this post that I did back in August went statewide.
If you're watching on
it
the
got shared by a lot
my
of people.
head is down. Yeah.
So I texted Coach O.
What?
I texted Coach O. We kind of have LSU kind of has a rule. If you want Coach O, you got to go through the channels to get a hold of him, blah, blah, blah.
But you have his cell phone.
But I have his cell phone number.
And
And I was
so-
curious whether he's changed it or not.
And so you,
For one.
out of the blue,
I texted him this.
before you read the precise
Oh,
text
man.
that you sent to Coach O,
It's embarrassing.
what time did you...
6:59 a.m.
What was that?
6:59 a.m.
And you said the following,
I'm really sorry, Coach.
and that's all she said.
That's all I said.
So Coach Ed Orgeron in Baton Rouge probably
He doesn't know who this is.
doesn't know who it is. He gets this text, and he's probably thinking, what was this, the police?
God, I got a player in trouble,
Fired
yeah.
up? What on earth could this be? See, already by your tone, you think you did something good again.
No, I don't.
You didn't.
No, I feel terrible.
Then quit getting such a kick out of
I
yourself.
feel terrible.
You don't feel
Do
terrible.
you know what he replied to? And the thing is, he started to reply. You can see the bubble pop up. He started to reply to mine right away, so he was up.
And he says,
What? Who is this?
and you
And
responded.
my response was,
God.
I was cringing as I typed it. I said, Erin McCarty at KEEL in Shreveport.
Did it ever occur to you at any point to think for a couple of minutes before you responded?
No. No.
No.
And then he replied to that. What are you talking about?
Meaning, why are you
Why
sorry?
are you sorry? Why are you apologizing? So I sent him this.
And then, not only are you probably crossing the lines of propriety of
big
media
time.
propriety
I stepped
with
way
a
over.
major college football coach.
Yeah, I did.
You threw me under the bus.
Oh, of course.
So
I had to.
how did you respond to
I had to.
Coach O's text?
I said, Coach, I predicted 6-6 for the Tigers, and my co-host says I must apologize. Sorry to bother you. And I haven't heard back from him. I think I'm blocked.
Haven't heard from him. Who would have thought that such a prescient and pertinent text wouldn't be met with an immediate response?
Don't ever text me again or something like that. You know what? I tell people who are like, I can't believe you're really going to call them. What's the worst they can do?
You probably
curse me out and block me.
No,
That's
worst
the
they can
worst
do
they
is-
can do.
No, the worst they can do is never talk to us again. That's the
When's
worst.
the last time he talked to us? He doesn't do individual things like that anymore. He just doesn't do it.
Well, he's certainly not going to do one with us now.
I know our chances are that, but I have changed my predictions.
You have
hand to God. I have
you
reassessed.
Reassessed.
Yes.
Don't hold your hand up that high. The lightning might be striking.
Exactly. I
So-
have the Tigers now. You can see it all at KeelNews.com.
Okay, let's review.
Mhm.
Your original prediction was 6-6, and you
Yep.
said they would lose 2.
Auburn, Miami, Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M, and Florida.
Now, they've knocked off ranked teams, at least ranked at the time,
Mhm.
Miami and Auburn.
Yep.
So,
I think the Tigers will now beat Florida and Texas A&M. I still think they'll struggle against Alabama and Georgia.
when you say struggle, do you mean
Lose.
lose?
So we're going to go 10-2, go to a big bowl, might even have a shot at the championship. Who knows?
If you lose to Alabama, there's no chance of the championship.
You know what? If Alabama's got a loss to somebody else, or they lose in the SEC championship
Have
game.
you looked at Alabama's schedule?
I know.
There's
I
nobody
know.
between now and
Yep.
January who can hold them to less than 50.
Yeah, get the cream puffs out, because that's what Alabama's been serving.
That's an interesting point you make, because at this point in the season, Alabama's opponents are a collective 500 record.
It's wrong. It's just wrong. So I think I'm blocked. I think if we call Coach O again, you'll have to call it from your phone.
Don't hold your breath.
That woman's crazy.
28 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic and weather. Yeah, let's go to traffic now. Erin getting local news ready as soon as her conscience clears.
Man, that was bad.
Okay, it's clear. Here's Ruben on Keel.
The intersection at Greenwood Road and Hearn Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Partly sunny, warm, and humid today with a high of 88 degrees expected. Tonight dropping down to a low of 72. 90 degrees for your high tomorrow, 73 tomorrow night for your low. And on Thursday, warm and humid with a high of 88. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Derek Witt.
A company is only as good as
The power of information. KEEL News now.
In the tragic death of a Barksdale airman in Bossier, police have now made 2 arrests. Both of those arrested are teenagers. One is 17-year-old Jerry Ona Crosby, and a 15-year-old boy have also been arrested in the death of Joshua Kidd. Kidd, an airman at Barksdale, was shot in the Green Acres Place subdivision in Bossier City, apparently while pursuing burglary suspects. He eventually died from a gunshot wound to his chest. The teenagers have been arrested and booked for second-degree murder. A gunman's on the run after fatal shooting in Shreveport. Matt Parker with that.
An argument Monday afternoon in the Western Hills neighborhood of Shreveport leads to murder. According to police, the victim and a woman were arguing in the front yard of a home on Madera Drive. At some point during the argument, the gunman came up and shot the victim in the head and chest. Investigators say that no arrests have been made in the case, but they believe they know who the shooter is. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
A Shreveport man locked up after taking shots at officers. According to police, officers were called to a home on Cresswell about 10 p.m. When they got there, the man pulled a gun and began shooting at them. He led them on a foot chase around the neighborhood. Eventually, he was caught. A dog is dead after being thrown out of a moving car in Webster Parish on I-20. The animal was bound with tape and rope and was thrown out of the vehicle and dragged while still alive. The Webster Parish Humane Association, who took custody of the animal and tried to save it to no avail, is offering a $2,500 reward for information about the case. Humane Society officials say they're considering an additional $750 to help get people's attention. They say it's clearly felony animal abuse, which comes with a hefty sentence for those found guilty.
No less than $5,000, no more than $25,000 per offense, no less than 1 year in jail, no more than 10 per count. So those are substantive.
The dog, named Faith by the Webster Parish Humane Association, was found with a collar on. Some poll numbers starting to roll in the mayor's race. Local political analyst Scott Hughes tells KEEL News what the matchup's beginning to look like.
I think Tyler versus Taliaferro becomes interesting. I think Jim may have a better chance to. You saw the race where he went for city marshal. He may have some chance to make some crossover vote. That's what they're polling in that second poll that you saw. And I think Tyler versus Jackson. I think Tyler beats Jackson very easily. And Tyler versus Perkins becomes interesting as well. Perkins will get some white vote. He'll get some Republican vote, but he also can fight Tyler head up in the African American community.
The election is November 6th. The governor announces a grant to increase school safety. Governor John Bel Edwards announcing the state's been awarded $3.6 million from the U.S. Department of Education. State Trooper John Kelly arrested and charged with felony abuse of office. An investigation into Kelly's alleged illegal activity began in August. Kelly's accused of using his access to law enforcement databases for unauthorized activities. This past weekend's cold front may have still left many across our state longing for that autumn feeling. While the front did knock humidity down a bit, still no need for hoodies or jackets quite yet. State climatologist Barry Kime says a more significant cold front is overdue.
Normally, we've seen a significant front through Louisiana by this point in the year, but rest assured one is coming eventually.
Kime says we can expect to experience some fronts in the coming weeks. Democrats are increasingly questioning the credibility of Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, and Republicans are accusing the Democrats of trying to prevent Kavanaugh's confirmation. A vote in the Senate could come this week. Indonesia's disaster agency says the death toll from the earthquake and tsunami disaster on a central island is now over 1,200 and expected to continue climbing. Someone saw something and then said something, but the something that was seen really wasn't anything. It happened in North Dakota when a woman saw a sign saying, "Help me," that appeared to be written in blood. She called police. Well, it turns out it was just a Halloween decoration. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. .101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. The KEEL app, a free download from Alvis Furniture Source, 836. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Really glad to have back again on KEEL United States Senator John Kennedy. Hey, Mr. John, how are you this morning? How's D.C. today?
Well, D.C. is like D.C. always is, but I'm doing great. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Let me start with the headline that I saw, I think it was last evening. Senator John Kennedy rips State of Kavanaugh probes. The quote is, "Put down the bong." John, what were you talking about? What did you mean? What did you say?
This is no longer an effort to discover the truth. It's just all politics now. I mean, it's just power politics. But the allegations are by the Democrats that Judge Kavanaugh is a rich, drunk, lying sexual predator. Now, he has been through 6 FBI background checks. He's been through a Senate judiciary investigation by our own investigators. He's now going through another FBI background check, and none of the allegations have proven to be true. And every time we come up with no evidence, our Democratic friends move the goalposts. Now they're back on this argument of, well, he doesn't have the right demeanor to be a justice. I mean, they call the guy a liar, a cheat, a drunk, and a rapist, and he defended himself. Now, I listened to both Dr. Ford's testimony and I listened to Judge Kavanaugh's testimony. This is no country for creepy old men. Folks who are victims of sexual assault should come forward. I want them to come forward. But some of my colleagues believe that you're morally tainted if you don't automatically believe the accuser. I don't agree with that. I mean, I think you're morally tainted if you don't treat both the accuser and the accused with respect and fairness and due process.
You know, Mr. John, you and I had spoken about the time that the Kavanaugh nomination was announced. What was it, a few months ago? Mm-hmm. And I said to you, or you said to me, I forget offhand, but the conversation was, this is going to be the ugliest, dirtiest, nastiest confirmation fight you ever saw. And yet, I don't think we had any idea it would get like this. Did you?
No. I'm very disappointed in the United States Senate. I think most Americans think we've hit rock bottom and started to dig. None of this is about a search for the truth.
Does this harm your relationship with your Democratic colleagues, the Senator Dianne Feinstein? Do you think it hurts the long-term relationship that you guys, I mean, you're a new senator. You're trying to get to know these folks.
Well, that's a great question, Erin. I've tried not to let it. I try not to make any of my comments personal toward another senator. I'm not going to impugn any senator's motives. I am going to speak frankly about strategies, and I believe completely, I think it's a fact that the strategy of our Democratic friends right now is just win, baby. Just win. Doesn't matter what the cost is, doesn't matter what the truth is, just win. Because Judge Kavanaugh is a conservative judge. Our Democratic friends want a Supreme Court justice who's willing to rewrite the Constitution at any time to advance social agendas that the Democrats can't get past Congress.
Did you see?
I don't think that's what the Supreme Court's for.
Did you see anything in Judge Kavanaugh, again, that raises concerns, whether it be his temper, talking about his drinking that maybe you suspect was maybe not quite fully what happened? Anything that you saw that leads to a red flag for you at all?
I'll tell you what I saw, and at the end of that day, when Dr. Ford and Judge Kavanaugh testified, it was a very, very powerful. It was very emotional. I saw two human beings in a lot of pain. I saw two human beings who honestly and sincerely believed that what they were saying is the truth, their version of the truth. That's why you have to look at corroboration. This happened 40 years ago. I don't know if we'll ever know the truth, but I will tell you this: at the party that Dr. Ford alleges, there supposedly were 3 other people, and not a single one of them has corroborated Dr. Ford's story. And that's just a fact, and you can't ignore that. Now they're trying to, they meaning our Democratic friends, are trying to disqualify Judge Kavanaugh because he drank beer in high school. He did. He threw ice. I understand the allegation this morning is that he threw ice on somebody at Yale in a bar. We've gone into the surreal. The foothills are creepy here. If the Democrats were criticizing Judge Kavanaugh's body of work, his 307 opinions, or his judicial philosophy, I would love to have that debate.
Mr. John,
but
Senator...
they have ruined the life of Dr. Ford and her children and her spouse, and Judge Kavanaugh and his spouse and his children. Their lives will never be the same. And that's just not right.
Senator Jeff Flake, Republican from Arizona, for a while, maybe the most powerful man in America. What's he going to do if the FBI investigation comes back and clears again Judge Kavanaugh? Do you think he'll vote yes, or do you think he once again will wilt under the Democrat pressure?
I don't know. I do know this is down to 5 people. One of them is Senator Flake. The other one is a Republican. The Republican, Senator Collins from Maine, Senator Murkowski from Alaska. The 2 Democrats who are still undecided are Joe Manchin and Heidi Heitkamp. And I don't know what they're going to do, but I do know it's time to vote, and it's time for every senator to be a senator, to woman up or man up and stand up in front of God and country and say, this is how I'm going to vote.
Do you think there's going to be any single Democrat, or maybe 2, that actually, to use your phrase, stand up?
Robert, I don't know. I mean, if you'd asked me before all this stuff began, I would have said yes. But I really don't know how they're going to vote. I just know it's time to vote. We have gone into a strategy of delay, stall, restall.
Because they're really what when you see that, when you see that question asked, where's a Democrat to stand up? In my mind, what you're asking is a Democrat to stand up for decency. Isn't there just one?
Not my version of decency. I mean, they couldn't defeat Judge Kavanaugh on the merits, so they've gone to character assassination. Now, one's character and demeanor is important for being on the United States Supreme Court, but accusations don't make something true. You have to have corroboration.
Senator Kennedy, go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
The FBI says they're going to have their report by Friday, and I'm hearing you guys are going to vote on Friday. Is that what the timetable looks like right now?
Senator McConnell is going to invoke cloture, start the clock running. Cloture is just ending debate. And even after you end debate, you have to wait 30 hours. He's going to start that process. I think we will vote this week or this weekend. It's time.
And will you actually get to see the FBI report before you vote?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think Senator McConnell is going to schedule the vote right after the FBI report comes out.
And you're not expecting any surprises from that?
I don't know. I mean, if the FBI comes back with something that disqualifies Judge Kavanaugh, I'll vote no. But after 6 prior investigations, if I were a betting man, I say they're just going to come back and say, well, we didn't find anything. We'll look again if you want. We'll look 100 times if you want, but there's nothing there.
Gotcha. I know you got to go. Thanks so much for your time, Senator.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Mr. John. Our pleasure. 846, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Ruben, traffic update.
Still keeping a close eye on some slow-moving traffic on Texas Avenue near Mansfield Road. And we have some traffic delays on Swan Lake Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Partly sunny, warm, and humid today with a high of 88 degrees expected. Tonight dropping down to a low of 72. 90 degrees for your high tomorrow, 73 tomorrow night for your low. And on Thursday, warm and humid with a high of 88. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Derek Witt.
1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. You look intense down there. What are you working on?
Oh, I'm just working on that stuff from the Pelican Institute. Daniel had some really cool ideas.
Like what? The Pelican Institute, a sort of a right wing, a Republican-leaning think tank in South Louisiana. Daniel Erspamer. We've had him on the radio now a couple of times. Sharp guy.
Yeah.
Very well spoken, very articulate, and always a good guest.
Got a new plan out for helping Louisiana's economy and spurring growth. One of the items says that he wants to adopt, this is incredible, a more comprehensive, holistic approach to reforming our state's antiquated budget system. This is going to take a lot of legislative action.
Would you see anything wrong when it comes to, and we talked about him a little bit, and I said, Daniel, does this mean the Pelican Institute really likes the idea of a constitutional convention? And does that mean we have to blow it all up and start over? He didn't say. He kind of said, yeah, I think that constitutional convention may not be the worst idea anybody ever had. And it all comes back to when we talk about Louisiana versus Texas. Why does Texas work a little better than Louisiana? If you buy into, as I do, the best government is the closest government to the people.
Right.
And most of the power in Texas, as we've discussed many times, especially when it comes to allocating dollars, is in the county seats.
Yeah.
Money here goes down to Baton Rouge. There's all these layers. It's like that archaeology course I took in college. There's the strata and there's another. It's just layers, and the money goes. And even if the money were being handled honestly, it would still. There's so many layers for it to go through. So much of it is gone by the time it gets back. 849, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Your Money Now is coming up. How's about right now? Here it is. Your Money Now on Keel.
American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
On a conference call on Friday, Louisiana Senator John Kennedy referred to the Brett Kavanaugh confirmation controversy as nonsense on a stick.
Yeah, Kennedy said that he has resisted an FBI investigation because he was concerned that Democrats might use the delay to surface other allegations against Kavanaugh. He said, if everyone proceeds in good faith, this will be fair, but I'm not convinced that everybody is in good faith. And by the way, Stephen, nonsense on a stick can be found in the freezer section next to the Blue Bell.
That's appropriate, because this entire process has left a lot of Americans feeling rather cold.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL and streaming live at KEELnews.com.
Rats. You're really against this.
I am against
you just
this.
think it's a bad idea.
I think it's a horrible
It's
idea.
one of the greatest bits of all time. We have
Save
time.
it for tomorrow.
Hold on. I have something to say on the matter.
Yeah.
If Erin thinks it's a bad idea, that
It's a
definitely
great
means
idea,
we should
yeah.
do it, because this is the woman that called Coach O this morning.
The last time you thought you had a good idea was at 6:50 this morning when you texted Ed Orgeron.
Yeah, I did.
And now you're blocked. Nice
I don't know if I'm blocked or not.
Huh?
I don't know if I'm blocked
You're
or
afraid
not.
to try again?
I might text him and go, "Hi, this is Devin White's mom. How are you?" I'll have to text him from your phone, I guess. I don't know. This is a bad idea. We'll do it tomorrow.
Speaking of bad ideas, what are your plans for the evening?
I'm going to lots of national night out parties. I'm kind of an NNO poacher.
Is it NNO? Oh,
Yeah.
National Night Out?
Yeah,
You know,
I'm a
it's
poacher.
interesting to me that this is basically your theory of, in the spring, of going to crawfish boils
Yeah, I crash crawfish boils.
and eat for free.
Yeah.
This is sort of something, this is carried over to the fall.
No one kicks you out.
This is an autumnal way of getting free food.
Yeah.
So where you?
In fact, if you're serving ribs at your national night out party,
Yeah.
text us on the Shreveport Security Systems text line. I'll be sure to stop by your party.
318-392-1884.
That's the rib line.
Yeah.
No, but I just like to go out and see what they're doing in different neighborhoods, because they rent bouncies for the kids. They're barbecuing. They're grilling. They're making homemade mac and cheese. Not that I'm going just for that, but some people do really good stuff.
So where are you thinking? Where are you thinking of going?
I'm going to go to South Highlands. I'm going to go to Broadmoor. I'm going to go Ellerby Road area. Maybe I'll drop by Southern Trace. I don't know.
You're
I'll get in the gate.
looking for smoke signals in the sky.
I'll go to a lot of neighborhoods.
You've got to look on your face.
I just find it fascinating that this whole idea is to have parties to bring together community, to stop crime, and Erin is using it as an excuse to steal steaks.
Oh, I'm committing a crime on National Night Out.
No.
I'm not?
No, you're cutting the moral corner.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's just, what do you call Erin cutting a moral corner? Tuesday.
Right, exactly.
Back tomorrow morning, 6 till 9. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Kim Commando.
The worst hack ever on Facebook. Some 50 million accounts. Affects more than only that in your digital life. Kim Commando with your Tuesday Consumer Tech Update. Get extended interviews on tech topics with the free Commando podcast, available on iTunes and Google Play. Last Friday night, Facebook announced that hackers took over 50 million accounts. And when I say take over, the hackers could use Facebook just as if they were you. Here's the rub. Your Facebook account isn't the only account in the hands of hackers. This shocking security breach also gave the attackers the same level of access to any accounts and sites you used your Facebook account to log in with. So if you tied your Facebook account to Messenger, Airbnb, Instagram, Spotify, Tinder, or any other apps or sites, hackers have complete access to those accounts too. So go to your Facebook settings and under apps, turn them all off. Or do what I did. Delete your Facebook account. It's been so refreshing. I'm Kim Commando. Here's some exciting news. As a company, SimpliSafe is now valued at $1 billion. Not only that, more than 2 million homes are now protected with an incredible SimpliSafe system. Simply Safe is comprehensive protection for your home with round-the-clock professional monitoring that will bring the police anytime there's even the slightest hint of a problem. And Simply Safe is built for the unexpected. It's loaded with safeguards that keep your system working even during the power and Wi-Fi outages. Even if a burglar smashes your keypad, the police will still be on their way. And the system is so easy to use. It's incredibly intuitive. It takes only minutes to set up in your home. Order your Simply Safe system now. As a listener of the Kim Commando Show, you get free shipping and free returns. Visit simplysafekim.com. simplysafekim.com to protect your home with Simply Safe today. That's simplysafekim.com.
They may not be your ordinary political pundits, but these days, that's a good thing. These mamas make sense. Terry Netterville and Denise Arthur. Listen to Mama on American Ground Radio. Weeknights from 6 to 7 p.m. Right here on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. And streaming live at KEELnews.com.
Good morning, it's 8:59, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. One more look at traffic before Fox News. Here's Ruben.
Still keeping a close eye on some slow-moving traffic on Texas Avenue near Mansfield Road. And we have some traffic delays on Swan Lake Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Partly sunny skies today with a high of 88. Tonight will be dropping down to a low of 72, reaching 90 degrees for the high tomorrow with mostly sunny skies, 73 tomorrow night. And for your Thursday, a mix of clouds and sun, 88 degrees for the high. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Derek Witt.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.